Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand here what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. We're waking up.
Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco, which on this weekend, 70 years ago, held its first Sunday service. So we are celebrating our 70th birthday today. We had a wonderful gala last night. For those of you who couldn't attend, we decided to leave some of the decorations up. So that's why we have these beautiful lotuses on the tables. We have our community art project, our birdhouses on display, as well as some pictures. There's an anniversary booklet that's also available for sale at the back of the sanctuary. But it's a very special day today to be able to celebrate 70 years as a spiritual community. So welcome to all of you. So here we are. And with our hearts centered in spirit, we can quiet our thoughts now and meditate on the wonder of all of God's creation and our oneness with it. So I invite you to lean back in your chairs, feel supported by it. Take a deep breath, become comfortable, and gently release any cares of the day. Because your sole purpose at this moment is to experience the divine, and you begin to do so now as you relax into this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. Seeing through eyes of oneness, acknowledging our oneness, we at Unity Spiritual Center celebrate and honor people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. And that God is expressing through all people in unique, special, and individual ways. So as we light the worship candle, which we do every Sunday, I invite you, as you look at that flame, to remember that you yourself carry a divine flame within as an individualized expression of God. We honor the one presence and one power of God with Unity's foundation statement, which you'll find on the screen behind me. And I invite you to join me in saying it aloud together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. On our 70th anniversary, we give thanks for our spiritual community and for the beauty of our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco is a welcoming, warm, and inclusive community dedicated to studying and putting into practice empowering tools and principles for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We give thanks that with our spiritual teachings, we can create extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationship with the loving God presence within each one of us and through our relationships with one another. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with others, with spirit, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, perhaps, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. If you're visiting us for the first time, and I know that a few of you are, we do have 2 gifts for you that you should have received when you came in the door. If you haven't, just raise your hand. It's a shell lei that has a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. We know that being around a table can give us a wonderful sense of connection, so that's why you're seeing tables in our sanctuary. They're a symbol of the warmth and hospitality that we can enjoy when gathered together. And I think Janine made it with the journals. We have, yep, good. We keep 2 communal journals on every table, in which everyone at any time is invited to share a reflection, a poem, a prayer, a meaningful quotation. So please do feel free to leave your thoughts in a journal. And of course, we do set up food tables, and you will find the food tables following the service in our other room, the Fillmore room. I want to tell you, plan on staying because we had an awful lot of leftover food from our gala last night, and you are going to eat well. So please do join us following the service where we'll have a chance to get to know you better. And of course, if you have any questions about Unity, don't hesitate to contact me using the information printed in the bulletin if you'd ever like to talk about Unity in general or Unity principles in particular. I'm going to take this time now to introduce our guest speaker, who some of you were fortunate enough to hear at our first Sunday forum. Stephen Dinan is the founder and CEO of the Shift Network, which delivers virtual summits, courses, and trainings featuring over 50 core faculty and 1,000 thought leaders in domains as diverse as spirituality, holistic health, enlightened business, indigenous wisdom, and sustainability. Stephen helped create and directed the Esalen Institute's Center for Theory and Research, a think tank for leading scholars, researchers, and teachers to explore human potential frontiers. And like me and Neil Volley, Stephen and his wife Deva are also alumni of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. Stephen is also the author of Radical Spirit and a really timely book called Sacred America, Sacred World, Fulfilling Our Mission in Service to All, the messages of which he'll spend some time exploring with us today. So please join me in welcoming Stephen to USC. So, as we now move into the meditative part of our service, and prepare to raise our voices together in song. If you haven't done it already, please do mute or turn off all of your electric devices. And Michael, is this a standing upper?
I think we
Maybe
can. I
yeah?
think we can stand for
Let's
this.
do it.
And we had some practice last night with Karen Drucker on this one, so we'll remember it. Please rise. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry walk away from me. I open my eyes and say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. If I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Let's sing the middle part again. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Thank you.
So as we continue to get comfortable in our seats, relaxing even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by Lakshmi Crawford.
Mentors. Sunday, November 6th, 2016. Mentoring enriches my spiritual journey. I'm grateful for the coaches, teachers, and counselors who have mentored me on my spiritual path. By building a relationship of trust, modeling spiritual truth, and sharing open-heartedly from their own successes and struggles. These people have been instrumental in raising my consciousness. Mentorship enriches the mentor as well. Helping others helps me to clarify and reinforce my own spiritual lessons and beliefs. It also encourages me to be mindful that others are watching and listening to what I say and do. Spiritual mentorship is a precious gift that I can give to myself, whether I am called to serve as a mentor or a mentee. When I am able and willing to serve in both roles, I find myself doubly blessed on my spiritual path. And the quote for the day is, "Let the wise also hear and gain in learning," from Proverbs 1:5.
Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. We have a prayer chest in the back of the sanctuary, and I'd ask you to take a moment to hold the requests in our communal prayer box in your heart and know that perfect divine love is enfolding each person represented in this prayer chest, and that divine order is taking place for all concerned. The prayer requests placed in this box are prayed on by me and our USC prayer team for 30 days, and then are forwarded to Silent Unity at Unity's World Headquarters, where they're prayed on for an additional 30 days. Prayer requests are available in the back of the sanctuary next to the candle rack. We actually don't have our candle racks up right now, but when we have them back up, you are always invited to light a candle to make your prayers visible. But at this time, we want to make our prayers audible. This is the time to offer your prayer needs to your spiritual community here so that we can support you and stand with you. After Michael plays the introduction to this song, you are invited to speak your prayer aloud, and we will answer each prayer request by singing, "Your prayer is my prayer too."
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 is my prayer too. Your prayer 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 is my prayer too.
We give thanks for this opportunity to bless and to be blessed in spirit. We give thanks for the feelings of connection, of peace and warmth that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community and around the globe. And we affirm that always and in all ways, divine love and divine order is everywhere present. At Unity Spiritual Center, your prayer is our prayer too. And so it is. Amen.
Love is but a song we sing, fears the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. No, the dove is on the wing, and you need not know why. Help me out here. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some will come and some will go. We shall surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Help me out here. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you must understand. You hold the key to love and fear in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. So come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Sing that again, come on. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try and love one another right now. One more time, come on. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. One more time, come on, big loud. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try and love one another right now. All right then.
Well, thank you all for the beautiful service so far. So I want to invite us to, first of all, mark the moment that we are in. We are 2 days from an election that is a very important moment for our country. Tempers are very hot in our country right now, and it is a time in which we need to bring our deepest spiritual wisdom to be of service to not only which decision we want people to make and exercising our own sacred vote, but to also be healers to bring our country together. So I want to talk about how do we bring our spiritual life and our political life together on still another level. And it has to go beyond simply positions and candidates. It has to be embodying the principles of unity and oneness in how we engage politics. Can we see the light of divinity in everyone, even those who differ from us politically? If we are progressive, can we see and respect and honor people who are Trump supporters? If we are conservative Republicans, can we see and honor those who are Hillary supporters? Can we see and honor those who are third-party supporters? Can we embody the unity in our country that is the key to open the door of the creative power of our diversity? We've gotten used to embracing diversity in certain realms. In a place like San Francisco, that it becomes almost a creed that we're like a diversity of all kinds, but we often are more intolerant of political diversity. We can judge and diminish and demean those who have very different political orientations. I've been guilty of this myself. I talked about before the service that in 2008, when Sarah Palin was the vice presidential candidate, I really didn't like her, and I would judge her. She was like nails on a chalkboard for me when she first came on the scene. But I took it on as a practice over the following year or so to find the place where I could see and honor and respect her in a deeper way. I read both of her books. I really took it on as a practice to heal the prejudice in my own heart against the conservative viewpoint that she represented. And at the end of that, I had a dream in which she showed up in the dream, and we were friendly. We were like old friends, and we embraced and had a hug. And I took it as a sign that something had shifted in me. And I brought it out into the public sphere through an article on Huffington Post that was called Dissolving the Palin Prejudice. And that actually horrified many of my progressive friends, but on the conservatives, actually, I got a lot of fan mail from conservatives. It went very viral on the conservative side. And people began to send me just how much hurt there was in their heart around feeling like here was their first female vice presidential candidate on the conservative side, and the amount of hate and vitriol that she'd been subjected to. It was hurting the people that supported her and believed in her and saw her as a champion for their values. And that's the part that we forget when we engage politics as blood sport, when we engage it as warfare, that we are doing damage, not just to the other political leaders involved, but often to the supporters on the other side. And so we start to create division rather than unity. So we can absolutely champion and should the candidates and the positions that we feel are going to evolve our country, that are going to express our highest ideals. But can we do so with deep respect and honoring for the other, whoever the other is? In this case, if you are a Democrat, it may be the Trump supporters who you're afraid of and vilifying. If you're on the other side, it may be that the Hillary supporters are really pushing your buttons. And so this is an opportunity for us to put the principles of unity, of spiritual truth into practice. And it's important that we do so not just for the moment, but for the fulfillment of a higher destiny of our country. Our country was built on the promise of creating a more perfect union. We did not say nation. It was a more perfect union. Union implies oneness, a coming together of what was once separate. It's founded in our principles that we are one nation, indivisible, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. These are high spiritual principles. E pluribus unum, out of many one. That's pointing us towards oneness. That is the secret sauce of what makes America great. That when we demonstrate oneness and unity, that actually creates the space for our diversity of viewpoints and religions and cultures to be creative. That's what makes us able to be this engine for innovation in the world, when we hold the diversity with respect. And I maintain that we have to learn how to do that now in our political culture. We have to resist the forces that are propelling us into an increasingly bitter civil war, where we become more and more unable to relate to the, quote, other side. They become separate cultures with their own echo chambers that we're only listening to one side, and we're increasingly seeing the other side as dark and dangerous and problematic for America. We have to learn how to come back into the wholeness that is the deeper truth of who we are, to see the light of divinity and dignity in every single person. And when we do that, something great can be liberated in the character of America. It's not that one party or group or faction of our country holds the greatness. Greatness is a product of all of us liberating our potential in synergy, in respectful dialogue, in collaboration with others. Out of my own journey with healing the prejudice in my own heart with Sarah Palin, I went from being a hard left activist to being recognized that even as a progressive, I need to build bridges with those on the right. I went to the Republican National Convention this summer, partially as an exercise in bridge building and reaching out and having divides, having conversations across divides. I was on a panel with Grover Norquist, who is in many ways my ideological opposite. But we had a respectful dialogue, and it was a chance to actually, for me to see where is it that I'm biased and not seeing other potentials and points of view here. How do I speak in a way that can actually cross the divides around gun control, which are or gun violence, because that is one of the schisms in our country. So my message here today is to think of what we're going through now as a kind of initiation of America. It has been ugly. It has been dark. I know, and I felt it myself, the pain in our hearts watching the ways that some of the languaging and the polarization and the mudslinging has been very damaging to witness. It's been hard, and I don't want to minimize that. But this does create an opportunity this year, just as when an addict hits bottom, that is an opportunity for redemption, a path of redemption and healing. This election is an opportunity for America to choose a higher path moving forward, one that is about building bridges, one that is about a unified America rather than two separate Americas at war with each other. So next week, there's a very important event that we are activating. We're calling it the Day of Healing and Reconciliation. I'm going to be in Washington, D.C., at the Unity of Washington, D.C., a sister congregation. We are bringing together messages from many different leaders, spanning the spectrum from Dr. Ben Carson on the right, all the way over to Reverend Al Sharpton on the left. And we are having people like Steny Hoyer, who's the Democratic whip for the House, offer a message, and many different people from across the political spectrum are going to offer messages, and we're close, hopefully, to getting Stevie Wonder to be offering song and indie RE, potentially the two of them. So what we're going to be doing is a 2-hour broadcast from DC to invite congregations around the country to create their own version, to watch the 2 hours for inspiration, for healing messages, for we're going to be showcasing things that are happening from Standing Rock or bridging divides between the police and activists, to really looking at what are the stories and the perspectives that are going to help our country heal. And then we're going to invite people in the local congregations to then engage in a process of really looking inward and saying, what is my role? What do I need to let go of? How do I become a part of this larger healing? So we're going to be doing that from 12 till 2 Pacific time next Sunday. I think it could be very powerful for this congregation to play a role in that. Part of the reason for that is that San Francisco has a very special role on the planet. I really see this as a portal in which the new it comes into being. It's like we start new social movements here. There's technology innovations. It's one of the most creative, generative, innovative places on the planet, and it's also very diverse as well. So there's a way in which San Francisco has a role of helping to open the possibility to the new. So can we not just be a champion of progressive politics and many different things, but can we be a champion here of the healing of our political culture, of the healing of divides? And I think that's my invitation to each of you, that you can be part of this and part of activating this. My wife is actually not going to DC. She'd be happy to come here and help to play a role of helping to mobilize things and activate things here. And you can talk with her after the service if you feel inspired. And beyond, it's not just about a single day. There's the broadcast. We're going to invite people to take actions like hugging somebody who voted for another presidential candidate. Having a conversation with somebody that you have had political disagreements with and just offering words of appreciation and honoring. Again, to help restore the fabric of trust that has been eroded so deeply and the fabric of respect. A lot of times people have had schisms in their family, schisms with people from high school or college because the tensions have gotten so hot this year. So I believe that this is what is required for us to begin to unleash that higher potential of America. And that higher potential of America, there's a fellow named Bill Shireman who is a great Republican guy who is a champion of the environmental movement. And he says that left and right are like the two wings of the American eagle. It takes both to fly. So while we have a battle between left and right, we are not flying. We are not soaring to our higher destiny of being a model and a light unto the world of a unified people and culture. We're modeling an ugly kind of divisiveness. And that's not actually fulfilling our spiritual purpose as a country, the purpose that was embedded in our DNA with e pluribus unum and a more perfect union. So I call upon all of us to find what is it in our own hearts. What is our service? How can we be part of this healing of the divide? How can we bring the kind of principles and practices that you've been learning here and inspired by week over week at Unity? How do we bring the unity perspective to our political process? And I maintain it is to treat our country as a sacred inheritance, to honor the roots of our democracy, to honor the importance of being fully involved, and the importance of being a bridge builder and healer, not simply a position, but somebody who can heal the divides. I mentioned it before the service, but those who were not here, there's a woman who I took a lot of inspiration from this summer. I went to Cleveland. Sister Rita Petruzulio had a vision for a unifying event to precede the Republican National Convention. Out of her own vision and she said, we need to have something that unifies, that take a stand for love. And the end result was a circle of 4,000 people who stood in loving silence with each other, holding hands across the Hope Memorial Bridge before the Republican Convention started. And that convention was peaceful. There was very little violence. Only a handful of arrests every day, even though they'd been preparing for up to 1,000. So in this time of increased polarization, let's get creative. Let's get committed to building these bridges, to healing the divides. Yes, to mobilize the vote. Yes, to make your own conscience be expressed. But can we do it in a way that has sacred respect and honor for the other side? Because that's, I believe, how we liberate again the potential of this country to really activate a vision of creating a country that works for all as an example to the rest of the world, that we're creating a kind of leadership that is a moral leadership and that is showing the pathway to actually embody creating a kind of heaven on earth. And it has to go beyond where we are. So that is my message for today and my invitation. So in my book, Sacred America, Sacred World, I've got a lot about practical solutions and perspectives. I'm very proud that I have endorsers from both left and right. I'm in fact partnered with a Republican leader on creating the Day of Healing and Reconciliation in DC. And I believe, and I've had people tell me that this book has really helped heal some conversations. People who've had schisms in families, they're like, oh, I read it and I highlighted different parts and I shared it with my conservative brother, and we actually found that there was more common ground than we had expected, and to create that healing. So I invite, my book is one vehicle for that healing. I think that taking on the Day of Healing and Reconciliation is another possibility for this church as at the epicenter of innovation in San Francisco. And I think going beyond that, what is your sacred guidance, like Sister Rita, about how you can make a difference? How can you be a bridge builder? How can you help heal the divide in your own heart and to help to reunify our country to fulfill this goal of oneness and unity that is ultimately the full expression of who we are? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I should mention that we are going to have, no, I think he does a song first. And then we'll have, my beautiful wife, Deva, is also a musician. So she's going to lead the meditation. And part of what we're going to invite when she does the guided meditation is to invite you into a space of healing and clearing whatever is in your own heart, mind, and soul need to shift and release as part of opening again to bringing your sacred depths into engagement with our political process in a way that heals and unites.
Great to see all your faces here. So this is a song that we'll do in a call and response way. So I'll sing a line and invite you to sing back, just as was done earlier. And we'll begin with a meditation, kind of going into some of the principles that Stephen was just sharing about, connected to the sacred and sacred America and whatever that means to us. And then from there, I'll invite you to go into a meditation and singing these songs from that more prayerful space. So. So I'm going to invite you to begin by taking some deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable doing this. And just bringing your concentration to your heart. And bringing into the center of your heart this concept of sacred America. What is it that you hold most sacred about this country where we live? Maybe it's the freedom. Maybe it's about equality. Maybe it's diversity, just finding that part of America that makes you proud. And just breathing that possibility for this sacred America that you want to be part of. And also, in this quiet space, allowing yourself to receive some sort of message or vision about how you can be part of this healing. This healing that's so deeply needed in a nation that's been divided. Restoring the sense of the sacred. We are the ones we've been waiting for. It starts here in each of our hearts. So you can keep your eyes closed if you want, or you can open them gently, and I'm going to sing a line, and then I'll invite you to repeat it. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. Next part. Overflowing, I'm overflowing. Join me. Overflowing, I'm overflowing for a sacred America. Sacred America, I'm overflowing. I'm overflowing. Back to we walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. We can all do it together now. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. Let's sing that together again. We walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love. Again, we walk upon this sacred ground, our hearts full of love, overflowing, overflowing. I'm overflowing for a sacred America, sacred America. I'm overflowing. We'll end with that. I'm overflowing. And just see yourself overflowing. You, this beacon of love, overflowing, healing the wounds in this nation. Overflowing, I'm overflowing. We're overflowing. I'm overflowing. And just taking a few more deep breaths into the center of your heart. Committing to be the heart, the hands, the eyes, the words of the sacred flowing through you, being a force of healing and reconciliation here in this sacred, sacred land. And so it is.
Isn't that beautiful? I don't even want to talk. Thank you so much, Deva, for that beautiful meditation. Thank you. So, with our hearts and minds full and open to a new way of seeing and being as we enter this election week. Just want to thank you for being here today, both of you. And if you're feeling anything like I'm feeling, I'm sure you are feeling appreciation for being a part of this community where you can hear such necessary, uplifting, spiritual material. We've been around for 70 years now, and we have such opportunities for our next 70 years. So being grateful, feeling grateful for all that we've been and all that we are and all that we can be. Please join with me in affirming our vision, our mission, and our values. Let's say them together. Our vision is centered in God. We co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity, and feeling inspired and feeling joyous over all that we have been and all that we look forward to. Let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected today to Unity Worldwide Ministries and to the San Francisco Food Bank. So let's take time now to bless our tithes and love offerings, holding them in our hands, perhaps placing them next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
The light of love becomes the flame that warms the heart that will proclaim that love can change a single mind, which shall release more of its kind. And when the light of love prevails, the universe as one regales. In the light of love shall we live. In the dawning of the morning, as the world begins to sing, harmonies created in the clouds. You can feel the chorus as the words begin to ring, sprinkling joy and love among the crowds. Saying the light of love becomes the flame that warms the heart that will proclaim that love can change a single mind, which shall release more of its kind. When the sound of love prevails, the universe as one regales. In the light of love shall we live. In the sun that lights the corners, as a smile upon your face, God creates another perfect day. as we pray. For the light of love becomes a flame that warms a heart that will proclaim that love can change a single mind, which shall release more of its kind. When the sound of love prevails, the universe as one regales. In the light of love shall we live. I'm going to play for a second because I'm like a kid there. The flame that warms a heart that will proclaim that love can change a single mind, which shall release more of its kind. And when the sound of love prevails, the universe is one regales. In the light of love shall we live. In the light of love shall we live. In the light of love shall we live. Good to see Ken back.
Ken Coleman is back in the house. So please join with me in giving thanks for all our many blessings. Prayer is behind me. We give thanks for the many blessings that are in our church this very moment.
We open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that are ours to choose.
We are
Filled with a mighty faith that empowers and frees us to live our divine purpose and serve our community with excellence.
And I have a few announcements here. Sacred America, Sacred World. This is Stephen's book. He's going to be in the Fillmore room following the service. Do take that opportunity to ask him any questions you might have, to take a look at his wonderful book. We've really been blessed by your presence here today. And I want to ask, this is new. This is a new opportunity for us. But if we were to stream the Day of Healing and Reconciliation event here at USC, would you come? Would you bring people? Okay, then let's do it. We'll plan on doing that. Thank you so much for that great opportunity. I want to tell you, for those of you who weren't here last night, that our gala was a rousing success. It truly was a party to remember, and there are so many people to thank. I'm going to go through that list right now. John Antoni, Dr. Reverend Carl All. Doctor, where did I get that? I just gave him a graduate degree. Yeah, really? I want one. All right, I'll start that over again. John Antoni, Reverend Carl All, Reverend Catherine Brenson, Rosa Bundy, Reverend Sharon Connors, Candy Corbett, Chelsea Ng, Janine Etter, Sylvia Grady, Lynn Guay. Am I saying that right, Lynn? Guay? Gay. Lynn Gay. Marcy Guzman, Norma Hall, Shirley Harris, Michael Hatfield, Valerie Hatfield, Teresa Hernandez, Cheryl Hodgins, Mary Ellen Girac, our MVP of the entire affair. Linda McCabe, Reverend David McClure, Abby McGreevy, Regina Reguero, Kathy Russell, Scott Shannon, Ethel Tang Kwan, Leola Washington, and Ron Willis. Let's give all of them a huge round of applause. And for people who did so much, you get a special gift. Now, this is a size small, so I'm going to give it to our gala chairperson, Kathy Russell. But I have enough in every size to be able to bestow them on everyone I just named who did such a wonderful job to help us out last night. So thank you, thank you, thank you for an event to remember. Come get your I was going to say that next week we're having an Aramaic workshop. Arlene, can we reschedule that if we're going to do our day of healing and reconciliation? Yeah, so we'll plan on doing that. And last but not least, I want to tell you, all of you who have worked hard to help us meet our challenge, we were given, just for those of you who haven't been here before or haven't been here in a while, we were given an amazing challenge by a very generous anonymous donor that if we could raise $7,070.70 in honor of our 70th birthday, the donor would not only make that match, but double it. So I am so thrilled to announce that we made our match, which means that we will be entering the 71st year with about over $21,000 to our reserve. So thank you so much for everyone who contributed, and thank you to our anonymous donor. Do we have children? All right, so let's bring in the kids.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be.